I think decisive's a great word. This, I don't know, this just screams a really close one again. NA East has been awesome all year round, but 90 to 10, that just that just seems disrespectful. Look, I pick Tribe, you pick Tribe, F. pick Tribe, but that does not mean I feel 90 to 10% confident. I think CMG deserve a little more love than that.
Well, I think you've already given us a good idea of precisely how you feel, and I'll echo that too. This is a pretty close matchup. It's like the 2-3 action, like you were saying. Really, the head-scratcher now is, well, who's that 2? And we'll come down to who drafts best. At least that's where it'll start. Janet for selection from Tribe Gaming. Very safe stuff, very versatile brawler. And honestly, if you're pushing up that left lane and you drop that base down with that gadget, your enemy is not going to be having a very fun time. So throwers are definitely in order here. Maybe Willow could be sneaking into this draft. Oh, actually, there's a Sprout quite early on from CMG, so if they go for the Gene here on the next one, it would be a little predictable. No, Penny selection for them. I'm interested that they're leaving such a strong thrower counter open.
Yeah, that's really curious. I think Sprout can be a nice pickup, though, with these indestructible walls. A lot of throwers can be great right now. I think that's why Tick and Grom get the ban boot from CMG, but they do leave space for themselves to draft a Sprout as a result. Janet as a first pick, it does make sense to me as well. It's kind of one of those safe options, like you mentioned, right? It doesn't lock them in into particular strategies. Not a lot of hard counters or anything like that for Janet either, and definitely has the range to at least compete. Wouldn't call her a sharpshooter necessarily, but on the other side, we're going to get Barley, and for dry season and past, you would never really see a pick like this in olden Brawl Stars days. But now the dry season's returned, new indestructible walls. Naturally, all of these throwers are kind of in a stronger spot. So we're even going to the depths of the throwers as well. Barley's somebody that's good, but usually not the first choice on Bounty.
Yeah, you say the depths. I say they're really scraping the bottom of the barrel now because he's not really a favorable. He's not really a great brawler to be picking here, all things considered. Now, the way that the draft is shaped up, it's completely viable. Grom, Tick, really the better options here have been eliminated. Here's Livy also with that. Oh, Gene, final selection from CMG. They needed to get some mid-brawler action in there, so it's good that they finally got it. It's less than optimal that they got it as that last pick, but hey, sometimes you got to pick that thrower a little earlier on when your opponent is Tribe Gaming, and they are a bit susceptible to being confused when some of those things are thrown their way. So I like the draft from both sides. Really, to me, I feel like Tribe Gaming might have the better draft here. Well, on paper, I think Chazmat Gaming NA wins draft-wise, but I think Tribe Gaming will be able to execute on some of these brawlers better.
Yeah, I think it's a toughie, right? I mean, I'm not used to seeing Gene be a last pick. Usually Gene's one of the stronger ones that goes in that 1, 2, or 3 slot, but hey, it's a new world of Brawl Stars that we live in. As Livy, of course, playing the Nani. Nani can be so powerful with the hard-hitting shots, but again, I don't really know if I have a hardcore winner on draft on paper. I think it's going to all come down to this execution, and for now, a huge advantage will be given to whoever can get this blue star first.
Well, looks like Chazmat Gaming NA is already executing. Typically, we see Tribe Gaming be the ones to lay down the law in terms of mechanics. They're going to have to play aggressive here, a little bit out of their comfort zone, but it also plays into the hand of Chazmat Gaming NA here. They've played something very, very control-based that's going to be that much more elevated if Toast can get a super, and if RBM can get his. Zulon on the left side is trying to push in. Tyrant's probably going to want to rotate over to that lane if he manages to get a turret down. Big takedown, actually, for Juan Carlos. And they've not only claimed the blue star, but they've gotten a kill. It's a great start for Chazmat.
Great start, and Juan Carlos has a super in hand as well. Having those walls cycling in and out is huge, but huge shot right there. Juan Carlos going to be in a lot of trouble, going to have to stay healthy and well for now, trying to lob up some shots. Return to sender, though, as Livy clutching up right there. 3 to 3, still blue star for Chazmat Gaming, but they're going to really start to feel some pressure if they stay on these back lines.
They seem to be turtling up quite a bit, and they might pay the price, as you've noted. Zulon and his Livy keep on shoving them back, stuffing them into this respawn area. Juan Carlos can sort of block things off on the left side if he throws down that hedge, but he's being quite hesitant to do so. Probably saving it to block one of those peeps if it comes his way. Zulon taken down the right side. Great use of the salty barrel by RBM. Tribe Gaming are just not really ready to play aggro into this. Chazmat Gaming, they maintain this lead. 15-second countdown active. Tribe Gaming have to make the first move.
They've got a penny turret on the back right. Now a pickup from Juan Carlos as well as Livy trying to claim one of his own. Zulon flying to the sky. Toast going to be very weak here. There's one pickup as Livy needs more, though. Throwing the wall down. Zulon trying to touch down in time. 1 kill, 2 going down. It's still CMG, though. They hold on and take game number 1.
team. They play passive, and they like to play defensive. ChazMag Gaming in A, they'll play aggro, and then they'll just sit back. And this is kind of what I was talking about with the draft. Like, yes, this works much better for ChazMag Gaming in A in terms of the brawler selected, in my opinion. I didn't see them executing on it as well as they have, so already really impressed with what ChazMag Gaming in A has had to offer. They might be able to keep this momentum going. Blocked off on the right side is Tyrant, Zulon on the left side, sort of trying to push in, but now we're finding ourselves in the same scenario that ChazMag were in the late game, where Tribe started to bring things back.
Yeah, they're starting to get really comfortable with their spawn side right now, but they're going to have to stay alive. A lot of low HP brawlers trying to claw their way back into it. The Magic Puff's certainly going to help that out as well. Big thrower battle on this right-hand side as Zulon's just kind of chilling out on the left, taking advantage of that three-pronged wall. Penny, Toast now grouping up together too, as Livy with the super is definitely going to be something I keep my eyes on as we have a minute left to go in this game.
Plenty of time for Tribe Gaming to make some big plays. Juan Carlos doesn't have a super, but as Livy does, this could be the moment where he makes a big play. But someone's got to get low on health as well for him to really secure a safe maneuver. Tyrant also has to retreat. Might be able to finish off Juan Carlos. He's trying to stay alive with the Magic Puffs, but it just wasn't enough. Now Tribe Gaming get to run things back, especially with his Livy having that blue star in his clutches. Arguably the safest brawler to have that on. It's a good outlook for Tribe. ChazMag still have lots of chances to bring this back, especially if they get a pull onto Zulon.
Sprout wall going down, but more importantly, a pull goes through. 2 kills, 1 on each side, but it's still Tribe with the lead. Nani Peep now being cycled in, trying to find a connection, and they're being very wary of it. Does end up tagging Sprout, but Sprout survives. 15 seconds to go, and Tribe just need to hang on.
ChazMag don't get a good pull in here. It's a Tribe victory, and Zulon's already ready to take to the skies. Get a bit of extra damage in there, but as Livy and Tyrant are left alone, just 4 seconds left. Juan Carlos can start bringing things back. Need to see some damage as Livy stays alive. Zulon, so some pretty fiery thoughts, some pretty fiery opinions from the players on this map, and it seems to be probably a result of exactly what we're seeing. The spawn trap is very difficult to deal with.
Yeah, now all these brawlers taking the field. This time it's going to be Tribe claiming the blue star, and likely a solid defense coming through for them too. It really feels like each time a team has taken a lead, they just kind of go back behind this little indestructible wall side here, especially when there's limited wall break options. You know, you got a Gene pull and play, the Nani Peep, you can waver into it, but it's not as easy. And now that we have throwers in play too, you got to be really careful about your dodges. So this time, instead of CMG on the back heels of their spawn, it's going to be Tribe trying to play defense.
They are getting battered and bruised just a little bit. We'll see Tyrant also. Looks like he's running medical use. Or no, perhaps not just happened to heal up at the same time as attacking. We'll see ChazMag Gaming and A continue to push him back, though. Zulon also throws down this gadget on the left side. Affords him a lot of area control. Toast, though, finally gets his super. He'll have to get a pull onto his Livy or Tyrant to really secure things. Zulon can still block things with the turret, even if it's at max range. ChazMag Gaming and A just keeping this control. If they manage to get that kill in the last few seconds, it would be optimal. It would give no chances for Tribe Gaming to retaliate. But with things so far crushed in this back right side, it might be the optimal time to make a move now.
Tyrant going to be in a lot of trouble here. There was a great cutoff of the wall there, and it's able to give them an advantage now. With a little over 30 seconds to go, a pivotal pickup. Oh, and a nicely placed turret as well from Zulon to stay alive. That would have been lethal. Zulon easily could have gone down there, and now with a super in hand too, he's at least going to be able to respond by flying.
Definitely a cop-out for Zulon if he needs to take to the skies. Is Livy and Tyrant are the prime brawlers to take it down here. Zulon might have to pop it now. He's going to land, actually, before that timer expires, so that could be a bad deal. Toast is going to bear a lot of that damage. RBM with the takedown. Just got to see 1 kill here. Is Livy blocking some of that damage with the return to Cinder. Tyrant's out of range. And symptom of how they played Gene and how effectively they were able to make use of Magic Puffs. Stay alive, stay close together, and constantly heal, even when they're getting pressured really, really hard. Love the micro plays. Love the attention to detail from this team. We're headed into field goal for a brand new kind of brawl. I'm excited to see how the long-range battle goes down at mid as well. You have some short-range lanes to flex some of your, well, shorter range brawlers. Also, mid-range is very viable here. We'll notice ChazMag Gaming also get rid of the B pretty early on, which I like. B is so difficult to fight on this map.
Yeah, and we're going to get a little swap here too. As Fade's coming in for Juan Carlos. So going back to what worked for them a little bit earlier today. Of course, on field goal, we're going to have some interesting choices. Meg being their first, a very powerful brawler that we've seen this weekend. Obviously, a little rework and how she operates. We've even seen some crazy stuff go down here on this map too, especially for field goal. We've seen Willow this week, and we've seen Shelly in other regions. I am on full watch for some craziness in this draft.
I think we're already seeing a bit of craziness is the thing. And Kenny, we've already kind of visited this. Like, is it too early to go ahead and call it? She's such a strong brawler. She feels pretty much invincible at some points. Love the Nita response from Chazmat Gaming. Consider here on field goal that there are ample opportunities for Nita to stay alive with these indestructible walls in play. She'll be able to fire some of those shots around walls, just expertly clip them, block a lot of damage from Meg, so I think this is a viable counter, but it doesn't really blow me away the way that Meg does, where she spawns with the mech. When she pops out of the mech, she has a 50% damage reduction shield, and the mech heals. It is an insanely strong brawler at the moment.
Yeah, definitely a really strong one. I think not necessarily overpowered, though. At least when talking to other pros in this region and in NA West as well, they feel like she's definitely better. Do not get me wrong. Really good stuff, and we've seen some great execution this weekend, and maybe their opinions will change after we get a feel for their first month with the new Meg, but I think there's still ways to respond to it. I'm anticipating maybe that CMG's last pick will be a way to try and address this. Nita, a solid lane here, could be taking this as well if they want to go with one of those tankier brawlers that can sometimes execute well into Meg too. Surge, a great response though, a really solid lane brawler, but again, needs to be a little careful of the spawner, a boost the bear, something that Surge doesn't love to deal with. So a little bit of chess going back and forth here. Gonna have to be really analytical on each of these sides for who they want to take.
Well, we say back and forth, but we know who's going to have the last laugh, which will be Chazmat Gaming NA, unless the will is just too much for them to contend with. We saw in previous monthly finals this month, just earlier on in the weekend, how valuable she can be in Brawl Ball. You know, get some flashy own goals in there if you want, but also very good at countering a brawler like Nita. So Tribe Gaming are going to have a great matchup in that department. We'll see how Chazmat Gaming NA respond. One final pick to rule them all, or to kneel to the opposition. Gray is their pick, and this one has me scratching my head a little bit. I can definitely see the direction, like teleport onto Islivy, have a grand old time, maybe even break some walls while you're at it, but at the same time, you're not going to have enough DPS to pop Tyrant out of that mech.
Yeah, I think your head's in the right place there. It's a little bit of back and forth, right? I think it can be a little favorable in the throwers in general. It's something we've seen pros do. They take Gray, they teleport onto the squishy thrower, they get the damage, but Meg's still Meg. That's a lot of HP unaccounted for on this map. And like you said, Gray's a single shot brawler that deals good damage, but not a ton to deal with an entire robot. I think this is a situation where Meg might be able to break loose and get out of hand.
Well, there's not a doubt in my mind that Chazmat Gaming NA got here and have stayed here because they know what they're doing. So how does this comp fare into the Meg? Already takedown into Tyrant. Already a good outlook for them. Fade might be able to get a teleport relatively soon. Good jump in for Toast, and already they've taken down both of the side lanes. But here's the final boss. He's equipped with a super. Fade's getting some good tags onto him. No swipe there for Zulon. Little pull onto Tyrant, some wall break, a pass over to RBM. This could be it, as Livy's got to do something with that ball. A super over to the right side. Teleport back for Fade. He might be able to walk this one in. Zulon needs enough DPS, but he just doesn't have it. And Chazmat Gaming NA start things off with an awesome goal.
Wow, that was insane. I mean, really well executed there from CMG. I think HP is something that kind of goes slept on in Brawl Stars too, and they've got a lot to work with. As much as we talk about Meg having plenty of HP and damage and, you know, pretty much all the stats that matter, it's also CMG that are a pretty healthy bunch as well, and I think it really shined there.
Let's see now how Tribe Gaming are able to flex some of the brawlers that they've selected. We'll see Zulon's mainly focused on maintaining the control at mid. He's getting battered and bruised along the way. Chazmat Gaming and a staying just out of range. Tyrant also on the level 3 is looking pretty fearsome, though still could be dealt with quite effectively. So far, Chazmat Gaming and a mostly taking the defensive approach. Not really picking up the ball, not looking to get too aggressive either. If RBM gets this super, it will actually be incredibly valuable for the team. Toast now taken down. This actually could be the death sentence for Chazmat Gaming NA as Livy, Zulon, Tyrant, they storm that goal line and tie things up 1-1.
Well played from Tribe there, and a nice response. Less than a minute to go, and Zulon gonna be right back to the mid. I am all eyes on Willow. If they can take advantage of this super, it can be a game changer. They're gonna be really passive about it. They're gonna wait for the right opportunity. So Livy's gonna keep his distance. Gonna have to be really careful because a miss of that super could honestly change the way this game goes down.
Teleported from Fade, missed grapple there on the Tyrant. Zulon and Tyrant both very low on health. A killer jump in from Toast, crash landing. Buddy
is strong. And it's all about how you adapt, and they're able to deal with that really well. Kicking off game number 2 here. It's going to be CMG with a small lead. It's Livy keeping his distance on the right. Zulon already taking some serious heat here, and now a dive in from Toast as well. Instant pickup there, but Zulon's walking up the map now. Plenty to work with. A gadget being popped. 588 going out of Meg form. And can RBM slide it away? Yes, he does. Toast picking up this ball and now dribbling it down the field.
Wow, that's a slow reload speed of Meg, really crippling her there. She absolutely could have had a goal, but what a hero play there from RBM. Great way to prevent that goal from being scored. You'll see he's also playing really passively on that left side to avoid giving Tyrant his super earlier on in the game. Toast also has been cycling out his supers relatively quickly. Could be coming in with the next one pretty soon. Zulon now back in the mech. Has a lot of health to work with, and Tyrant gets his first super of the game. Good stuff for Tribe Gaming, now enabling them to push up to the enemy side. But Chazmag Gaming and A are holding strong, not giving up an inch of room.
Gotta watch out for that Fade super too. Gonna be trying to catch some people off guard, but as Livy has a super of his own. Fade, big pickup left-hand side. 3-baller standing for CMG. Zulon, low HP. Bruce the Bear touching down in the field, and it's a lot of red on my screen ready. Fade walks it in, picks up a goal for CMG, and they're gonna take advantage here in game number 2.
Could be Tribe Gaming looking down the barrel of defeat here now, as Chazmag Gaming and A are just 1 goal away from claiming this set and tying up the scoreline. We anticipated a 3-2 incoming. I didn't think it was going to get this close so early on, though. Fade gets taken down on the right side. This is a good opportunity for a push for Tribe Gaming. Zulon with a passive to Tyrant. No one to protect him on the right just yet. Fade respawns, but he doesn't have much DPS. And Zulon has that shield active. Jump in from Tyrant. It's got to be RBM, but he just doesn't have enough firepower. And it's all tied up in this game once again.
Even when she's not in the mech, she's a problem. Zulon getting a major goal right there to tie things up. They're already down 1 game to CMG. We're getting a big teleport there. Tyrant is going to fall. Bruce walking his way forward is going to be a real problem for his Livy, who doesn't do well into a spawner like that. Bruce just overwhelming them now as Tyrant finally comes to the rescue. 3v2 situation, ball on the Tribe side. It's all about who can deal with this best in overtime.
Zulon trying to push forward once again. Toast holding strong. RBM also looking to farm up that next super. Takes a bit of damage along the way. Nothing he can't recover from. On the right side, Tyrant gets that level 3. That's devastating for Fade. Trying to dodge out some of the shots, and he does. But he's only 2 shots remaining. Zulon also has a super. Here it is, right up the right side. Fade doubles back to pick it up, but Tyrant and Zulon have their number. Easy super in the right side of the goal.
The opening, and regardless, it still worked out. 1-1 overall. We'll see if these teams change anything up. Still going to be a Gray versus a Willow matchup. Zulon just trying to get some heavy firepower down on the ground. Tyrant going to need that tier 2, like we say all the time with Surge. It's so crucial for making him more valuable. And right now, it's CMG being forced away quickly. The half field line going to Tribe early.
I think really the big accelerant for Chazmag Gaming and A is going to be whether they get that super in early. Toast could absolutely jump over to his Livy's lane. He's pretty low. Here it comes, actually. Jump in, crash landing, and a takedown. It's a 3v2 now. Zulon still holding strong. That ball is absolutely inaccessible. And yeah, get away from me. Throws down the super, a swipe right in Toast's face. And that actually shuts down that entire push around the left side, affords enough time for his Livy to come back. Big teleport in from Fade. Takedown once again. This could be a goal-scoring opportunity, but as you said, Kenny, Zulon is such a problem even when he's not in the mech.
Yeah, that shield can do a lot of work. Right now, though, it's going to be Toast has so much HP at his disposal. It's going to take Zulon right out of that dive in now. Toast looking for a kill. Does get 1. Is he going to get 2? Not quite. Is Livy getting picked up here, though? Fade trying to make a hero's effort. Walking it forward. Can Tyrant do enough? Yes, he can. Has the shots down in time. And now it's Tribe. Going to be able to dribble this one up the map.
Perfect display of where impatience can take you. We saw just a near miss there from Fade. He knew he was going to die if he took all 3 hits of damage, and he tried to bait some of that damage around the right side and was hoping that he'd be able to pass it through. Tyrant just did not have enough time. He's got 3 shot. Could be devastating for Chazmag Gaming and A, but it looks like they've afforded themselves another good position. Bear down on the left side. Everyone's pushed in. Toast could get this takedown. No, he's controlled. He's now going for RBM. Could be friendly fire. No, not quite, but he's still going to fall on the left side to the poison. Fade has that ball on the right side. RBM just just looking to recover that super. They know that they can't really get a goal in this position. They're looking to maintain where they have control at the moment, though, and maybe afford someone a super. A little emergency teleport over there from Fade also gets a good lane flex if someone needs it. Still, though, no major moves. Tyrant also has his level 3 ready for that extra range as we progress closer and closer to overtime.
That is Livy super is so good. I'm sure he's going to want another of those pretty quickly because it can make a huge difference, especially in overtime. If you're in a 4v2 in a wide open map, it can go a long way. But control right now for CMG is these walls are about to come down. Tyrant trying to force them off this ball. Now jumping in, still goes down though. Fade with the super, a teleport in. Sulam with the swipe. It's going to be 3 brawlers, now 2v2. Walking it forward, Toast shot to the right past the RBM and a team
for Fade, such an impressive performance that hopefully extends in a Kaboom Canyon unless we see a one-sided match here, and I'm not quite expecting that between these two. Kaboom Canyon is also another map that we're just now seeing re-enter the competitive map pool, so what will have changed? Last time we checked in, Amber was still pretty good on this map, and she's even better now with that new gear, so might be one of the brawlers I'm looking out for.
I think a good shout as well. Curious to see if Meg makes any appearances, which no surprise, she's in the band stage.
Okay.
And there's the one you called out. One for each of us, buddy. Amber showing up as the first overall pick. And look, the little rework that she got, or I guess a better word would be a new upgrade, would be that you get slowed down in those puddles of gasoline, which is so major. You know, you guys talked about it and called it out earlier too. Sometimes you don't even need to shoot the shot, right? One, I think they take away Tyrant from playing this brawler, which he excelled at earlier. But two, now they can try and help themselves with map control, even when Amber's not firing, no pun intended, she could still be a problem.
Well, I think an obvious counter to this would be Crow, and we'll see if they decide to go with this here, because it's not banned out. And if you ask me, it's one of the best brawlers on this map. Chazmac Gaming might actually decide to pick it up for themselves, but they have to be mindful of precisely what they're facing against. Eve can be very, very troublesome, especially if you're a single target brawler. Not going to be an issue for Amber, obviously. Lola is a selection here. And I'm liking this. It's good. It's consistent. It doesn't necessarily deal effectively with anything on Tribe Gaming, but I also don't see like the Bonnie or the Eve to be brawlers that counter out anything in particular super hard or have some really big hard counters, with the exception of like Colette, which is a viable option for Chazmac.
Yeah, I think it could be too. Colette, of course, going to be a huge damage dealer onto the heist safe every time that she kind of drives in and drives out with that super. About 10% damage, and that doesn't even account for things like damage gear. B, a brawler that this team is so good at using. They have multiple really powerful B brawlers, Toast being one of them, of course. I'm really excited to see what they can do with this. I think B is just kind of a safe option in general. Don't know if it's necessarily hard countering anything. If anything, the spawners could possibly be a problem for B. So lane matchup's going to be really important here. And of course, boys, a fun one to see the rocket launcher man touch down the ground.
It is always fun, especially in the hands of Tribe Gaming. However, what has me wondering a little bit is, like, what exactly is this to deal with? They might be able to break down some walls, but I'm not seeing brawlers that benefit, like, a ton from having walls. Maybe Fade, but even Fade doesn't really get outranged by any of these brawlers, so I think that this is a very directed draft for Chazmac Gaming and A. I think they've gotten the brawlers that they want. Tribe Gaming, it's like an assortment, right? It's like I reached into a bag of mixed jelly beans and I just pulled out a few ones and maybe like got rid of the gross ones that I didn't want. And this is what I'm looking at on the side of Tribe Gaming. Not the greatest analogy, but it's what makes sense to me, all right? Chazmac Gaming in A. Still, solid comp. I think I give them the outdraft here, but Tribe Gaming, the kings of execution.
Yep, it's all going to come down to execution at the end, right? You know, the draft can go super well for you, but if you can't play it, what difference does it make? Right now, Tribe Gaming owning the mid-ground, but Fade has something to say about it for sure. Throwing a lot of puddles down. Gadget coming in from his Livy as well. A final shot connecting there. It's going to take down Amber. Now some spawners touching down, which also Eve got a little bit of an addition there too. We'll have 4 spawners touching the ground, assuming they picked that up. It's Livy letting it rain now too. Small lead here for Tribe Gaming.
See the ego go in. RBM quickly loses that. Tyrant and his Livy stay alive and even get to heal up some health. As a result, is Livy now ready with the rocket fuel. Does go for a combo there with Tyrant onto Toast, but Toast manages to stay alive, affords himself a bit of time to recoup that health as well. Tribe Gaming are all over this mid, but they're really decisively staying outside of some of these puddles of fire fuel, which Fade is having some difficulty getting back into. He wants to use Scorch and Siphon, wants to be getting that super back for free. but he's going to have to use his gadget if he wants to do that. And these are in short supply. You only get a few per game. Here comes another super for Fade. Could be getting a bit more area control for him. A little burn there onto the bushes at mid, but not quite too much action just yet. Good defense for Chazmak. Big destruction of the gas on Chazmak's side. They might finally get a push in.
Ego doing just a little bit of work, only about 2%, and CMG really have to take advantage. You know, the times has gone down. Tribe owned control for a really long time, and if all they can get out of that is 8%, it's going to be really difficult to come back here. Fade letting them have it on the right-hand side as Tyrant, as Livy keep their distance, trying to hit those sharpshooter shots, but now Fade's going to completely take over on the right. We're going to need to see Toast, RBM get up there, and have to see some big Lola Ego plays if they want to do enough damage in time.
Sure, his control afforded for Chazmak so far, but they can still push up. 90% remains on Tribe Gaming safe. It's a 20% differential that they have to make up in a very short time frame. Tyrant has the Super 40. He's going to clear that obstacle. Fade has to respond. Same for Toast, but he's got to blast through. Fade also going to get taken down on the back lines. Despite his best efforts of defense, it might still be a victory. No, not quite.
Even when Tribe wasn't on offense, their defense was superb. They didn't give up a lot there, and it seems opening up this wall is a huge part of their strategy, maybe to help out Brock and Bonnie and Eve, because they've got some serious distance on them, so they can open up the map, make it a little easier to line up those shots, and not allow for RBM, Fade, or Toast, if they take over, to kind of move up the map like we see Tyrant here. He can just hunker down, hide behind those walls, because they have nothing to get over it.
It's a tough bit of terrain to cover. However, Tribe Gaming are certainly cut out for it. We'll cut RBM out of the equation on the left side. Fade now coming in, getting a good bit of destruction on those walls, and destruction as this Livy falls. Now gets to use the Scorching Siphon once again. Tyrant with a jump in, not able to get too much damage. RBM has to defend Zulon on the right side. Looks like he'll get these hatchlings out actually, and a bit of survival here too. Really troublesome for Toast to deal with. Still going to be able to tank those with the use of Honey Molasses. Great plays from Chazmak so far, but they still have yet to make a significant push onto the side of Tribe Gaming.
Yeah, that's right. Only 2% being done, so they're going to have to make a serious push here to try and get some damage dealt. Tyrant, Zulon, as Livy all clustered together here as RBM's going to let them have it. Ego going down quickly, though, so again, not a ton of value out of that. No kills being picked up, no damage being acquired, and Fade still just out of striking distance onto that safe. The Tribe defense has just been something to watch throughout the set.
Certainly has. Playing it really effectively. Ooh, Tyrant not going to be able to clear that wall this time, but RBM luckily falls thereafter. Tribe Gaming will still be able to defend this quite easily as long as they can win a 2v1. Toast falls. Now Tribe Gaming gets to push up once again, but they're being quite conservative about it. They have plenty of time to sit in this one position. It is a small differential, though. Just 10% separates these two teams on the score so far. Now dropping to 40 as Livy gets a big rocket rain in on that safe. RBM's the sole defender versus 3 enemies. He might be able to get a takedown. No, not quite. Zulon with a jump out, and this is devastating for Chazmak. They only have 30 seconds to respond.
Yeah, and they're going to have to get moving here again. They just haven't had a real big movement on offense. It's kind of getting up the map and then getting shut down. And then they try it again, but ultimately it's just Tribe in control with 20 seconds left to go. Tyrant with the super, as Livy with the super, and now a pick up on the Fade. I don't know if there's anything they can do.
10 seconds left, really just left to sit and watch their high safe disintegrate. They're fully at the mercy, in control of mid for a good long time, keep CMG trapped in their own spawn, and even when mid was retaken from them, they held fast in that position. There was never a time where CMG was simply raining down upon their safe, and there were ample moments of that coming from Tribe.
Yeah, I think that's a very fair point. I mean, you know, kills aren't everything in that mode, and it won't be for Gym Grab either, but if you're almost doubling the amount of kills that the other team has, you got a pretty big advantage, I would say. That's what we saw from Tribe, of course. Crystal Arcade, though, very different game mode than we saw on Kaboom Canyon. The bans might reflect that, but you know what? Some of the brawlers stay pretty similar already. So once again, gonna be a Meg matchup here. Let's see what CMG does in response.
Yep, yet another Mag matchup. We'll see if it works well for Tribe Gaming this time. It didn't really work so well for them on Brawl Ball, but, you know, new map, new vibes, same brawlers on the side of Tribe, at least so far. Chazmak Gaming and Ave picked up some new ones that we haven't seen rear their heads just yet in this match. Some Gus, some Spike in here, never hurt anybody. And I think Spike is actually a really safe pick. I think a lot of people will share that mentality with me, but something that I will say quite often is this is almost too safe of a selection. We'll see how exactly it's addressed on the side of Tribe Gaming, but Chazmec are also affording themselves a strong last pick, getting rid of one of the stronger tank counters that they could possibly face. Some typical stuff for Chazmec Gaming would be like go for the Sam or something, but now that Tribe have the wall break, it's going to be quite difficult to make that work.
Yeah, I think Spike can deal a lot of DPS too, which might be an extra kind of motivation to pick this into Meg, right? I wouldn't expect Spike to go mid or anything. That's kind of what I expect Meg to end up doing. I think Colonel Ruffs is a good pickup for them, and Otis, nicely done as well. I really like this composition coming in from Tribe. We're not used to seeing Meg in Crystal Arcade and all of these gym grab maps, but this feels like a situation where she might shine. Got somebody that doesn't deal a ton of damage. I get that you want the shield on your side, and I'm not giving up on the Chazmec Gaming comp whatsoever, but so far I am a big fan of the Tribe Gaming one.
Same here. I mean, you can't really go wrong, right? Just pick the brawlers at the top of the tier list is what we often see from Tribe Gaming, and this is no exception. We'll see RBM select the Carl here. I like that. It's going to be difficult to deal with, say, Livy in close range if he has that swipe. Otherwise, though, I think that this one is, quite effective for RBM. Could also get silenced, but it's not going to do much as long as you're within that protective pirouette, and it'll also be slicing right through sandbags from Zulon if he runs those. And with Fade and Toast still on the field, I wouldn't be, too surprised if he still decides to go for the sandbags. I would say second gadget with that meteor shower is probably more effective here. We'll also get him good early game control of one of these bushes. Once you get into one of these positions, it is so hard to shove someone out if you don't have wall break.
Kicking off game number 1 here, it's going to be Zulon running it towards the mid. The monster truck mech already being a problem as RBM being pinned down right now. Does have a super. Toast goes down here too. Sandbags in play. Not going to make things easy for Fade as he's going to have a sandbag right in his face. And even though Zulon is kicked out of the mech, still a large lead. 5 gyms already for Tribe Gaming.
Could be compounding, but Toast will be able to grab the first one for his team. RBM now with the big assault forward, going right for Zulon, or maybe shifting gears. Never mind, taking down his Livy. Almost a kill onto Tyrant. Curveball claims his life. Never mind, it's Toast. Everyone on Chazmec Gaming NA is calling these shots together, focusing on an individual target one at a time, and it has devastated Tribe Gaming's ranks. Big destruction too as Zulon gets that gadget popped on him. Still, he's able to stay in the fight. Sandbags down once again to protect versus Fade on the right side, but it's just too far back. It's not going to afford him too much on that right side. Regardless, he gets to advance forward. We'll see as Livy sort of stick in this position that can oftentimes be impossible to remove someone from.
CMG really waking up here in set number 4. We didn't see their best work in that last one, but now we're starting to see them really shine. Dive in from RBM, shield being applied, and he wants more. Barely staying alive. 184 HP. Let the man collect his treasure. 10 gyms now for RBM. All they have to do is play a successful defense, and they've knocked Zulon out of the mech. Gonna be way too difficult as one last swipe goes down for RBM.
Piece of this entire comp. It's really put RBM in a position and just let him go. Dude's just a Beyblade. Let him rip and see what happens. It also helps that the guy's spinning, but Zulon spins a little bit too. So, hey, maybe there's 2 of them on the same field, but they'll be going head to head quite likely. RBM does get shut down a bit early on. And Tribe Gaming now get that mid control that they got in game number 1. You have to recall that CMG did manage to get the retake even off of that with a good play in from Toast and RBM combining their supers. So Zulon, Livy, Tyrant, they all need to hunker down and prepare for this kind of instance.
That's a great shout. I mean, we did see it. Sometimes one kill is all you need in gym grab, and the most important one they could find is against Zulon. CMG finally starting to move up this map, but really being shut down on this right-hand side as Livy getting a pickup. Zulon helping now, collecting their 7th huge lead, and CMG gonna have to find a way to once again find a clutch kill.
CRBM on the right side. Feeling a lot more opposition this time, as Zulon and his Livy know that he's kind of the win condition for the team. Toast, though, does get a super. It's got to be popped on him because RBM's too low to continue on. Zulon also could be popped out of the Meg. Almost kill shot coming in, just 14 health left. And yup, yeah, Meg's a little buffed now. She gets to regen that health afterwards. Could be enough to carry her all the way to the finish line. 3 seconds left. RBM now circling in, but just not enough DPS. And
otherwise, it's the end of the road. We're going to have to see some bigger moments from them like we saw in game number 1, and they're going to have to do their best to not let Tribe overwhelm them early like we've seen in these first 2.
Well, already strong start for Chazmag Gaming and A. They do face a lot of fire down that mid lane. RBM also in a slightly different matchup than he has been before. Is going to be trying to get some easy shots on Zulon. It's not going to be easy in any sense of the word as he and Toast fall one right after the other. Tyrant gets to collect these gems for himself and retreat back to the bushes on the right side. It's difficult to remove someone from this position without wall break, as I've said earlier. Chazmag Gaming and A are absolutely feeling it at the moment. Fate is trying to get some of these curveball shots in here, but the use of the fat splatter from Tyrant is keeping him back quite well. He's out of these gadgets now. It could be the opportunity for Fate to start pushing in, especially as he has that life plant heal and a super to match. Toast has that super too. Almost a takedown into Zulon. Once RBM gets that super, Toast is going to be looking to combine forces with him, make a big play.
CMG doing everything they can to try and find their way back in this one. Colonel Ruff super going down. RBM has the extra HP, but going against two brawlers is tough for anyone, especially when it says Livy and Zulon on the other side. Now being knocked out of that mech as well. 7-4, still a fighting chance in this to say the least, but if Zulon gets another mech, could be too much to handle.
Zulon still keeping things at range. Once Toast gets that super, we have to be expecting a big play in. Is Livy much of the same? He's powered up and he has that super at the ready. Zulon's also not powered up. It could be a 2-for-1 deal. RBM now circling in, takedown to his Livy. Good dodges, but Zulon still gets that kill. Tyrant falls. Zulon picks up a couple more gems, but a lot of area control has been forfeited by both teams, in fact. Zulon's going to be winning it back for his team, and Chazmag Gaming and A are just one gem away from starting this countdown. Even when they have it, though, they can't afford to back up just yet. Tribe Gaming has enough time to wait for a couple more gems to spawn. Zulon also has that super for close range combat. It's really, really tough. Both teams want to go for these gems, but they simply can't at the moment. Huge sandbags popped for his Livy, and this is a countdown for Tribe.
Those are going to be a real problem for Gus. So much discipline being shown by both of these teams. This is a masterclass of not hitting the panic super buttons. It's going to be really tough here, each trying to establish some serious control as Toast going to branch out now, picking up a second here as well. Countdown beginning, 2 gems in Chazmag Gaming's pocket extra.
Dipping below 10 seconds left. Tribe Gaming need to collect one more gem here. Toast now with the combo in as Livy taken down. Zulon also could be popped out of the mech. Just 1 second left and not enough time for Tribe Gaming to collect the great thinking from their side. Question is, do they have something prepared for the final set? There's nothing beyond this. There's no tie in Hot Zone. It's split coming in.
Ooh, and it's a tough final boss to deal with already. Overtime in Brawl Stars, this map has been really tough to handle. The draft's so interesting in this era of Brawl Stars in the blind format. It was already hot enough to handle, but now we're really going to have to see how teams adjust, not only to this map being reintroduced, it's in a set 5. It's when the stakes are highest and during balance changes and everything. We're going to have to see how these teams adapt. 2 very strong teams are going to be going at it here. And the first overall pick, it's going to be Barley.
Interesting first pick here, but it makes sense, right? You've gotten rid of that other thrower quite early on, right? Banned out that Sprout. There's still other options. I like the reaction from Tribe Gaming. Immediately go for the Stew. That's going to shut down the Barley in a lot of ways, unfortunately. That combined with the Max is going to be super troublesome for Barley to deal with. Might even have to run the Sticky Syrup Mixer, actually, in order to deal with these couple of brawlers. This, unfortunately, might spell defeat for Chazmag Gaming and A, unless they're somehow able to counter out these other 2 brawlers hard enough that Barley can succeed. Could be a Colonel Ruff's choice if it hadn't been banned, so they'll have to think of other ways to block it out. B selection from them. This is the B into Max, and it's really just dependent on how these 2 brawlers are played. You have speed on one side, you have slow on the other side. Just whoever has the best mechanics wins here, but Tribe Gaming still have a final counter pick.
Yeah, this is tough. I mean, we've got Barley, who gives you a little versatility over the walls. We've got Penny, we've got B, just strong choices in general. Kind of looking out for some interesting picks here. It's going to be Rico. The fact that Rico's being drafted 6th on this map kind of blows my mind, just because historically he's somebody that always comes to the forefront of picks. And now we're going to get to put it on a brawler who's really good with it too. Man, this is going to be a toughie. Of course, Barley does have that kind of favorable matchup into Rico, but I imagine that the Stew pick could also be to kind of break open these walls. So a little yin-yang here here. Pros and cons for both sides. I don't know what's going to happen, Reddy, but I'm excited. This is going to be a great finish.
It's going to be a great resolution to this conflict between Chazmac Gaming and Tribe Gaming. This is a storied matchup. Chazmac Gaming could finally take things down in the grand finals, right? They have defeated Tribe Gaming before last year in the quarterfinals, right? It was not the grand finals like it is here, so this would be monumental for this org. They'll finally get a grand finals win in North America if they can finish it off here. Early victories on the left side for Toast and RBM, mirrored around the right side, this time by Tribe Gaming, as Livy is trying to take things down. Still, notice how surgically Chazmac is trying to deny the super to Stu. They know that if they give that super to Stu, then it pretty much is all over, especially for Fade.
Wow, really strong start and a huge pop-off super there from Livy, finding the perfect angle. And despite all this hard work that Tribe are doing, it's complete control right now for CMG. Sure, they have a touchdown on this right-hand side, but they have to make sure that they're doing some of their own. Livy now tucking in here, getting some hot zone percentages as they pick up 1 kill on the left, but RBM now able to play defense. Zulon, though, not giving up. So relentless, but does end up falling. Big lead here, but Tyrant can now start working on this left-hand side.
I love this defense of the left side from RBM. He's been defending it for so long. It didn't give a single percentage of capture to Tyrant, but now Tyrant has eventually gotten his super. He's running the long dash too. Zero drag being used full force at the left side. Trying to get him close versus RBM. Taken down. Toast also defending furiously. Fade is going to be sort of abusing this matchup on the right side, as Livy staying out of range a lot of the time, also popping that bouncy castle to stay alive. Not any connections off of that super, unfortunately. And now with that turret down, it's going to be yet another opponent for Livy to face on the right side. Still being lured out by Zulon and Tyrant on the left side. Great use of the super from Fade, and this might be Chazmac's chance to push in on the right.
This is a defensive matchup at its finest. I think I underestimated how close this really was between the two teams. Now CMG finally able to touch down on the right just a little bit, 5% being the difference. RBM trying to keep Stu at bay as Livy continues to use these bounce shots. It's a great map for Rico, and you can see why. And of course, as Livy playing one of his most notable brawlers while doing so. RBM now trying to rush in here, but Tyrant dashing over to the left-hand side. Fade low HP, trying to stay alive, but he does slide the shot through, and now Zulon's gonna be able to move left as well. Still advantage for Tribe Gaming here.
RBM still on the right side. Is playing quite defensively. Has a turret at his disposal if he needs to block out some more damage from Livy. Takedown on the left side. Zulon falls. Chazmac Gaming in A take back this lead. Now, though, the clock is in play. 25 seconds left as Livy could fall. Here he comes. Zulon Tyrant also here to reinforce that right side. They're still behind, and they need to capture this left side. It's going to be difficult versus Toast. They have to just rush it, as Livy might not be cut out for the job. He does get a big super in here, but not that many connections. Zero drag from Tyrant isn't enough to dodge out those shots from RBM. Takedowns on the right side, too. It's a Chazmac Gaming victory as they push things to a match.
As it would be our third different Grand Finals winner in NA East. Legacies on the line, and Chazmac Gaming with a real opportunity to cause an upset.
Well, Chazmac Gaming are going to have to do it again, and Tribe Gaming might already understand their tricks here. Looks like they're already trying something new. Tyrant on the left side, still taking that lane, but as Livy's here to reinforce. Zulon's also getting a good bit of capture on the right side. Fade's trying to keep him back, just playing at the edge of each other's range. Zulon just playing so surgically. Make sure he's at the edge of that range. Takedown onto Tyrant on the left side. Chazmac Gaming in A gets an early lead, but Fade has to back up on the right as Zulon starts to rack things up on the right. Inching forward, but Chazmac Gaming in A is notably ahead.
There's a lot going down for both of these sides. I mean, each kill is going to matter so much. I think Fade is giving Zulon a good bit of trouble here, not allowing Zulon to easily just step on the hot zone right here. Now with the super going down, Max is going to be forced away. RBM and Toast still in complete control of this left-hand side, and unless Tyrant can kind of break through here and open up the map a little bit, it's just going to be a wide open range. And even if they do, B and Penny, sharp shooters, everybody rushing this right-hand side, but nonetheless, it's going to be Fade staying alive. It's now a monstrous lead for CMG. Tribe have some serious work cut out for him.
Uh-oh, bit of a misplay by Fade, though. He was forced to get too aggressive, and in that pinch, he ended up feeding Tyrant a super. This is it. This is the big play for Tyrant. He's trying to make it work, but RBM's ready with a salty barrel. Here comes that trash Panda, now down at mid. Turret firing down upon Zulon. And there's Livy on the right side, has a super at the ready. Difficult for Fade to play this lane because he can't safely get inside of here. And now Tribe Gaming might actually have some comeback potential here. Zulon, bit of a misplay on the left side, he's still able to get a trade. And Tyrant still out of a super. RBM's been playing this one really, really well, really patiently. Almost a takedown for Fade. Zero drag all the way to the enemy spawn. Fresh meat for Toast. And Chazmac Gaming in A still remain ahead, but this time they're going to get tied up pretty soon by Tribe Gaming.
Oh man, 2% being the difference right now, and Tribe just have to find a way to play defense and offense all at once. CMG now branching out, major tag onto Tyrant, it's going to be a kill as well. Here comes the rush, and a big shot in from Toast. Zulon low HP, going to be in some serious trouble, trying to do the best to dodge, but now two brawlers hunkered down right-hand side. Huge advantage for CMG.
It's almost impenetrable for Tribe Gaming. They got to make something huge happen. Zulon has no gadgets, but does have some dodges. Toast with a final takedown. RBM and Fate constructing a fortress on the right side as Livy taken down. The spins are out. The pins are out. Chazmac Gaming NA are your monthly finals champions in NA East in May. Wow, it's moments like these that completely annihilate my vocabulary because this is a first for a lot of things. We finally see the Toast team take a monthly final victory. That is insane.
There's a first for everything, right? Like you said, this is a big moment for the organization, for North America. We've now gotten our third straight different champion this year. NA East is wide open. I mean, these leaderboards, by the end of the day, too, we're going to get all the math checked out in a little bit, but I really don't know what's going to happen here. You know, we've got LCQ spots on the line. We've got World Final spots on the line, and now Tribe not picking up that 100 points they need. CMG being in the lower side of this 4 teams, now getting a grand finals win of their own. Anything can happen at this point. We have entered halftime with quite an interesting storyline on our hands.
Dude, it's just crazy. It's crazy. I mean, a part of me thought it would just never happen, right?